The First Humans in Africa, The Origins of Humanity, is a story that begins more than 200,000 years ago, when small groups of early Homo sapiens first walked the vast savannas, forests, and deserts of Africa. Imagine the ancient landscapes, endless grasslands stretching into the horizon, herds of wild animals roaming freely, and scattered bands of humans learning how to survive in a world both harsh and beautiful. These were not yet the great civilizations we know from history books, but small communities bound together by the need to hunt, gather, and protect one another. The earliest humans lived in caves, under trees, or in temporary shelters, moving with the seasons in search of food and water. They relied on sharp stone tools, crafted with incredible patience, to cut meat, scrape hides, and shape wood for spears. Fire, discovered and tamed by their ancestors, became their constant companion, providing warmth during cold nights, protection from predators, and a way to cook food, which changed their diet and allowed them to thrive. But life was never easy. Every day was a struggle between survival and extinction, between the dangers of wild beasts, unpredictable weather, and rival groups of humans competing for scarce resources. Yet, within these early people, the spark of intelligence and creativity burned brightly. They communicated not with words as we know them today, but with gestures, expressions, and the earliest forms of symbolic sounds. Slowly, over generations, this would evolve into the first languages, shaping human connection and identity. In Africa's valleys and riverbanks, early humans learned to adapt. They discovered edible plants, tracked migrating animals, and shared knowledge from one generation to the next. Women and men worked side by side gathering fruits, nuts, and roots, hunting antelope or wild boar, and raising children who would carry forward the fragile hope of survival. Communities grew through cooperation, and it was in these shared efforts that the foundations of human culture were born. Archaeological evidence tells us that the first humans were also artists. They carved simple symbols into stone and painted with natural pigments on rock walls, leaving behind the earliest expressions of imagination and spirituality. These were not just decorations, but reflections of their inner world, their fears, their dreams, and perhaps even their belief in something greater than themselves. As thousands of years passed, the African climate shifted again and again, challenging humanity to adapt. Droughts forced migrations, fertile lands gave way to deserts, and rivers shifted course. Yet, with each challenge, the resilience of our ancestors grew stronger. They spread into new regions of Africa, carrying with them fire, tools, and knowledge. Eventually, some of these groups would journey beyond Africa, beginning the great migrations that populated the rest of the earth. But Africa remained the cradle, the birthplace of all of us, no matter where we live today. The origins of humanity remind us of our shared roots. Every culture, every language, every person alive traces their ancestry back to those first small communities that walked the African plains. They were ordinary people facing extraordinary challenges. But from their courage and cooperation came the spark that built civilizations, science, and art. When we look at their story, we are not just studying the past, we are looking into a mirror, seeing the resilience, creativity, and hope that still define us today. This is the story of the first humans in Africa. the origins of humanity, the connection we share with one another, and the long path humanity has traveled from the savannas of Africa to the world we live in now. If you enjoyed this exploration into our earliest origins, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more journeys into history and the untold stories of our past.